Just get some energy powder in this, mate.
Cheers,
well done, mate.
Not bad in a pair of boots twice the size for me.
No, you've done very well, mate. Effort. Well done, pal. Well done, pal. I'm going to be honest, that was brutal.
So welcome back. I don't know when this video will be out, but earlier this week, me and 3 very good mates attempted the National 3 Peaks Challenge. Now, for those of you who don't know, and I'm sure many of you do, that's the challenge to climb Ben Nevis, Scafell Pike and Snowdon, the highest 3 peaks in Scotland, England and Wales, all within 24 hours. And it's not just the climbing that's the challenge, it also includes the time travelling between each mountain as well. Now, I've climbed all 3 peaks separately on numerous times before, in all sorts of different weather conditions, but I've never tried them all in one go, and I've certainly never had a go at this challenge before. So it was completely new to me. One of the group I was with had completed it successfully previously, but for the rest of us, it was going to be a completely new experience. And this is the story of what happened.
Yeah, no, it wasn't that.
So welcome back to the channel. 23 miles, 10,000 feet of ascent, 3 mountains, 4 mates, 2 Yorkshiremen, an Irishman and a Welshman. You couldn't even make this up. It started already. We're in the Ben Nevis car park. We're about to do Ben Nevis. I reckon we should have this knocked off within 5 to 6 hours. If we ever get going, I suppose I better put some money in the machine. Official time check, 16:36, and we're off. So about an hour in. I don't think we're about halfway up. I do think so.
Yeah.
You alright, Jeff?
We've climbed 504 metres.
Like a fat man on a cake shop with no wallet. Just get some energy powder in this, mate. We've been going just short of 2.5 hours. We're just at the end of the zigzags. Don't think it'll be long before we hit the summit. Quick touch and we'll be back down. There's nothing to see, unfortunately, but it is what it is. It could have been a lot worse. You know, a week or so ago, we'd have been in snow and we'd have been knackered. Right, well, there's absolutely knack all to see. That's the top of Ben Nevis.
Well, we come all the way up here for this.
Yeah, it would apparently so, mate.
What's the point?
Well, I organised it to stop raining.
Honestly.
I know, it's pouring. What's that, 1,345 metres?
Well, according to my watch, 1346
well,
elevation gain.
Very good, mate.
Yeah?
Can't believe how still it is up here. It's bonkers, isn't it? So the time now, 19:31. It's taken us 2 hours 50 minutes, which I think is pretty good. What you have to remember is that we've got a combined age of 220, so we're never going to set the world record, but we're going to give it a good go. Come on, Tim, get yourself up. Come around here, Jeff. Come on, boys, come on. Well done, mate.
Thank you.
Well done, mate.
Good work. Thank you. Good work.
What's your names, boys?
I'm Jude.
Florian.
And whereabouts are you from?
Dortmund.
You're going to be on YouTube now anyway, boys, if you're happy with that.
It's okay, of course.
3 hours up, 2 hours down.
Less than that.
Do you think so? Yeah. Brilliant. Well, I don't want to speak too soon, but making easy weather of this coming down. Just dipped out of the Clag. Views have opened up again. It's around about 8:15. Sunset officially 5 to 9. So we might need head torches, I don't know. It's brightened up a little bit. And the best thing about it is we stayed dry. But I'll be the first to admit it was cold on the top. Needed to get off pretty quickly. I could feel myself cooling down. Wind was sharp. But since we've dropped down the south side of the hill, wind's been virtually non-existent. Got nice and warm again. How are you feeling, brother?
All right, mate, yeah.
Good? Good. Right, made it back to the car. It is 22:14, so just a smidge over 5.5 hours. It's not bad going, to be fair. Would have been a lot worse if it had been snowing. But weather's quite mild. Wind's dropped. Gonna have a quick transition and then we're going to get away, I think, because we need to make some time back and hopefully we'll have a decent journey.
Now, there is only one route that goes up Ben Nevis that lends itself to this challenge. That's called the tourist route. But don't be fooled by the name. You really need to be fully equipped and prepared for a day on the hills. It's a well built and maintained track for most of the way and it leads you all the way to the summit, but it is the longest route with the most descent and it's a good idea to get that out of the way while you're feeling fresh. Now, we started the challenge around about 4:30, which meant there was a lot of people coming down the mountain as we were going up. But as you've seen, by the time we arrived, we're the only ones there. We met a couple of lads on the way up from Germany and they were just out for a stroll and I think they tagged along and they were happy to get to the top with us, but they certainly weren't prepared for the difference in temperature and the difference in weather conditions that the mountain was going to throw at them between the bottom in the Ben Nevis car park where we started and where we got to the top. And because we started so late in the day, it also meant we were coming down in the dark, so head torches were a must. So we parked in the Ben Nevis car park. The cost for that was £8 for the day. We had to put in the vehicle registration into the machine and it does take coins and cards. So it's a good idea to have different forms of payment with you. I'll put the postcode for the car park on the screen, but it's PH33 6ST. There's parking for 120 vehicles and depending on which time of day you start, depending whether you'll get parked there or not or whether you'll have to make alternative parking arrangements. But we had no problem, the car park was virtually empty when we turned up. We also choose to do the challenge midweek as well. If you're limited to only doing it on a weekend, you're going to find that it's going to be really busy. We also chose to do it not quite in the middle of the year. As I would imagine, the closer to the middle of June you do it, where you've got most daylight, the more popular the challenge is going to be. The other thing we decided to do was use our own vehicle. Well, in fact, we actually hired one. And this meant we all had to take a turn in driving. Some of us more than others, but that's irrelevant. The point being was we decided that we didn't need a dedicated driver. We were going to do it ourselves and we'd spell each other. And we'd come up with all sorts of different tactics. We didn't have a rota. We just took it in turns. And if anyone was feeling particularly fatigued, they weren't then compelled to find that they had to drive, especially during the night. But not having a dedicated driver meant frequent changeovers and we lost a lot of time in that transition as well. So that's something else for you to bear in mind. The other alternatives for you here is you could elect to have a dedicated driver or a couple of dedicated drivers depending on what size vehicle you use, or in fact you may choose to hire a company whose sole job is to sort out all your logistics and deliver you to the location, so all you have to do is concentrate on getting up and down the mountains in the allotted time. And that takes the stress out of all the planning and organising that you have to do, because there's an awful lot to take into consideration. And the further into your journey you get, the more difficult it is to make rational decisions. And I think because we were travelling ourselves, we decided to travel up on the day of the challenge, and we had a nice leisurely drive up from Yorkshire all the way to Fort William. And I think in hindsight, what would have been better was travelling up the night before, staying in a hotel or a B&B, spending the day relaxing, because I think the travelling up on the day only contributed to the fatigue in the end. I think all in all we were probably awake around about 60 hours, and that can't be good either. I think in hindsight that might have been a better idea, but of course that all contributes to the cost, and it's not a particularly cheap challenge to complete.
So the good news is we're on the way to Scafell. The bad news is the A82 is closed after Glencoe and it's only letting cars through on the hour. It's now 11:30, so we're going to be sitting here for half an hour. I'm confident we're going to come in under the 24 hours, but this just really puts it in jeopardy. So what we might do is if we do go over a little bit at the end, we'll just subtract the 30 minutes that we're going to be sitting here. So it'll be what it'll be. We can't do anything. There is no diversion we could have taken that could have taken any time off at all. We'd have just ended up going to Inverness and coming back round. It wouldn't have been worth it. So it is what it is. We just have to suck it up. We'll get some shut-eye and we'll just come back fresh when we get to England. Quick update, 6 minutes past 12, we start to get moving again. So it is what it is. It's just going 5:30. You've had some rotten luck with roadworks. We got held up for 35 minutes or so coming out of the A82. There was contraflow systems on the M74 heading south, and then it's been cross country since then. And then to top it all, we found that the boot hadn't secured properly earlier on before we stopped at McDonald's, and we think we've lost Di's boots and a load of water as well, so not the best, but we're going to soldier on. I don't know whether this is going to get done in 24 hours or not. It's too early to say. I'm pretty confident we'll smash Scafell Pike, but there seems to be a diversion on, and I think it'll put too much time on the journey over to Wales afterwards and only leave us for maybe 2.5, maybe 3 hours in order to complete Snowdon. So it's going to be tight, but we'll give it a go. We'll see how we get on.
Unbelievable.
We've made it 7:24. That's not bad going. That's just short of 2 hours. I'm really impressed with that. I've also used my new poles as well. I think they've helped. Surprisingly, it's not my knees that are giving me jip, it's my left hip. But just gonna have to put that one down to age, I think, or overuse, or a little bit of both. Di?
What's up, mate? Cheers, Jace.
Well done, mate.
Not bad in a pair of boots twice the size for me.
No, you've done very well, mate. You've done very well.
148 actually, 148 we got up there.
Did you?
Not two.
Good. 978 metres, highest point in England, Scafell Pike, and the views are just sensational. You can see Scafell over there, you've got down to Lingmel, you've got Great Gable, just amazing. It's a little bit hazy, but I think we'll take that all day long. Get yourself up here, Tim. Well done, pal. Well done, pal.
Cheers, mate.
Effort.
Well, bud.
Well done, mate. So we've got some decisions to make now. I think the road conditions are going to be against us, but we can only try. And I think as long as our times up and down the mountains are still strong, we're going to take that as a win, because that's probably the only thing we can control. Well, back towards the car park. And it's 9:14, so it's taken 1 hour and 3/4 to get down from the top. 3 3/4 hours in total. That's not bad going. Quite a few people going up this morning. It's going to be a warm day, and if I'm honest, I think we're going to really suffer going up Snowdon. But I got chatting to a lady on the way down. She told me that there is a route which doesn't involve any detours at all. We can go where we need to be. Won't add any extra time onto the journey. Just have to take the conditions as they come. So as long as we get lucky, I think we could be still on for completing in 24 hours. Now, my understanding was that you had to be up and down off Snowdon back to your car or the car park in under 24 hours. But I got chatting to a bloke just back there, and he swears blind that all I have to do is get to the top of Snowdon and touch the top. So depending how I get on, depending which rules to follow. How are you doing, Jeff? Unx-rated version down there.
Oh, sorry, mate.
Yeah.
Yes, Jason, what an experience.
So how are you doing, Jeff?
Oh, what an experience, mate. Superb. That top was just unreal. Going up, going down, not so sure.
Yeah, I think I'm with you.
But beautiful.
Anyway, on to the next one.
On to the next one, bud.
Now with Scafell Pike, you've got two feasible options to get into the top. The first one is to park at Seathwaite Farm. You've got a much shorter journey from Fort William down to the Lake District, but you've got a slightly longer walk. Personally, I like the walking from Seathwaite. I think the corridor route's an excellent way up the mountain, but it does take slightly longer. It was my first time actually climbing Scafell Pike from Wasdale. I have to say, I really enjoyed it. I thought the scenery and the gorse and everything was so beautiful. It was well worth doing that, but it is a slightly longer drive and slightly windier roads. You have to take that into account. So we chose to climb Scafell Pike from Wasdale Head Car Park. So to park there, it's £9.50 all day. Jeff had National Trust membership, so it didn't cost us anything, but it is quite expensive. Or if you're feeling confident, it's £8 for 4 hours. And we were up and down within about 3 3/4 hours, so we could have got away with that. But for the sake of £1.50, it's just not worth it. The other thing to think about, if you go to Seathwaite, you might be able to park along the roadside and it's free. Or there's the Farmer's Field, and that's £10 for 24 hours. So the postcode for the Lakehead car park is CA20 1EX. And one of the reasons for doing Ben Nevis as late as we did was we'd be bypassing Glasgow during the night when there was very little traffic on the road. And to be fair, getting past Glasgow wasn't too bad. And as you've seen from the footage, we got stuck in some horrendous roadworks. Whether those roadworks would be in place during a weekend when traffic and tourists are probably at the busiest, I've absolutely no idea. But it was something that was out of our control. Now, by the time we got back down to the car park at the Lakehead, I was confident that we could possibly do this in the 24 hours. There was a road closure for Nether Wasdale, but our route was going to take us beyond that towards Santon Bridge. Even by that time, the road to Wasdale was getting quite congested. We were having to make allowances for oncoming vehicles, using pulling places and stuff like that. So that's something else you need to factor into your journey. Right, so we eventually arrived at Penny Pass, 14:51, if I can get it on. Eventually arrived at Penny Pass, it's 14:51. We've had an horrendous time with traffic. We're not even convinced it can be actually completed within 24 hours, given when the challenge was conceived and the amount of roadworks, contraflow systems, diversions in place, congestion on the road that we're having to deal with now. But we're still in good spirits. We're hoping to do it in around about 4 hours. That'll put us on course for about 6:30 finish. And I think if you wanted to make some allowances for the severe roadworks we've had to endure over the last 24 hours, I think you'd agree we can probably come in under time. And there's a number of different routes you can do for Snowdon. You can go in from Llanberis, that was our original plan. But we booked to park at Penny Pass and we're going to go up the pig track. It's a little bit shorter, there's a little bit less ascent, and you start from higher elevation, but we couldn't have wished for better weather. We're all sun creamed up. Just be aware, if you are going to consider parking at Penny Pass, book it well in advance. I would imagine on a weekend you're really going to struggle to get a space, but I went on a couple of days ago, I didn't have a problem at all finding one, and I cannot tell you how warm it is. Very little wind, very little cloud. It's stunning, but it's going to be brutal. So a big apology from me. You'll have seen my rookie error. We all set off along the miners track, my mistake, and then to try and correct it, there's a public right of way that connects the miners track to the pig track, but it's really nothing more than a grassy trod, so sorry guys, but we're on the pig track now and I'm sure we'll make decent progress. Well, we've made it. 17:37. Not sure how long that is. 2 3/4 maybe. And check this out. We've got the whole summit to ourselves. I think we're going to go and smash the cafe. But I came up here a couple of years ago with a family. I had to queue 45 minutes to the summit. The kids had moaned a little bit on the way up. And when they got here, my little lad looked at me and said, "We are going to touch the top, aren't we, Dad?" And I didn't have the heart to say no, so we did, and it was worth it and a lovely family memory. But I'm going to be honest, that was brutal. Just the fatigue, the steepness, everything.
No support driver.
No support driver.
The lads who were in the car not supporting.
Just the ascent, how brutal it is. The weather, it could have been blowing a hoolie, we could have had snow, but flipping out, the sun, we've been walking into it continuously for the past 3 hours and it's been relentless, absolutely relentless. I need a drink, so I'll leave it here. I'll go meet Di in the cafe. So we've had a chin wag. A couple of the other lads are really starting to feel it. It's been a brutal day. I'm a bit concerned about their feet and how all fatigued we are really. I think the easiest path to probably go down will be the Llanberis path. I think that's the one that's going to cause us the least problems. So what we'll do, we'll walk down into Llanberis, we'll get a cab back and pick up the car at Penny Pass and just take it from there. I'm sure everything will be fine, but I don't want to risk anything now. I can't begin to tell you how tired we are. Just that accumulative fatigue. You think you're all right, but in this weather it just creeps up on you and really, really brutal. Anyway, it's done now. I'll maybe see you later. So that just left Snowdon, and we decided to park at the Penny Pass car park, and that cost £20 for the day. You have to book that in advance through the Just Park app. It's really easy to do, but again, weekends, busy periods, you're going to struggle to park there. If you want to start your route from there, there are a number of different options of getting there. If you've got a dedicated driver, they can drop you off, or you can park in Llanberis and get the shuttle bus back up there, but that's eating into your 24 hours and ultimately making it more difficult to complete the challenge. Postcode for Penny Pass car park is LL55 4NU, and I have to say, guys on the car park were absolutely superb. They knew when we arrived we were running late, and all they said to us was, lads, don't worry about putting extra time on the car. It's all about getting down and getting down safely. Please don't feel you have to rush. Just make sure you get yourselves back safely. Now, parking at Penny Pass gives you a couple of options to get up to the top. You can take the pig track, as we intended, or you can do the miners track. Now, we chose to do the pig track because starting from Penny Pass, you've got less ascent, so you're starting higher up. It's a well-trodden track anyway, and most of them are to the top of Snowdon, and it's probably the shortest. The miners track, again, nice and windy and flat, and then you've got a steep ascent to get to the top. It joins the pig track further up, but it is slightly longer. You've got the Llanberis path, which we chose to come down on. That starts in the town. You've got quite a steep ascent, and it's quite long as well, although the track is pretty good and it's wide. It's just like a motorway in places, but it's definitely the longest. So the big question is, would I do it again? I can say with absolute certainty, no, I wouldn't. It's probably one of the hardest physical challenges I've ever done. And it's not the walking, my feet are completely intact, no blisters, no sore points, anything like that. I just think it's the accumulative fatigue, and it's taken me at least a good 24 hours to 48 hours to get over it. I mean, properly get over it. As an experience with my mates, brilliant. Loved every minute of it. It's been some great crack, some great banter. We chose to stay in an Airbnb in Llanberis when we completed it, and what a great spot that was. We had some good food at the end of it, but it was absolutely fantastic. Now, we had a conversation with a National Trust ranger on one of the hills when we were going round, and he's been leading groups doing the National Three Peaks for some time. He's done it on several occasions, and he said since the challenge was conceived, the roads are getting considerably more congested, there's more roadworks, and look, there's an environmental impact as well. These villages were never intended or designed to deal with the massive amount of tourists that they're having to deal with on a regular basis, and particularly at different times of nights when people are coming and going on these challenges. It's the aspect of disruption and noise and all those other things, people parking on verges, inconsiderate parking, litter, all those other sorts of things as well. But he says it's considerably harder now trying to get people to complete within 24 hours. And often that's leading for some companies or some drivers and some groups to try and beat that 24-hour time and drive inconsiderately without a thought to other road users or other people who live in these places as well. I think the other thing that slowed us down was we had too many transitions. So regardless of the transitions, when we were stopping, we were taking far too long to buy food, buy drinks, go to the bathroom. We had a couple of route finding issues as well. And it doesn't seem very long at the time, but all these little stoppages add up. And ultimately, all these things will contribute to whether you're successful or whether you dip out under the 24 hours or not. So it's another thing to bear in mind. So the other thing to think about is about the makeup of your group. Now, we only had 4 people in ours, but we all had different levels of fitness and levels of mountain experience. And depending on the makeup of your group, that again could contribute to extra time taken to complete each mountain stage. Now, the mountain ranger was also saying that there's a school of thought about reorganising the challenge so that it only includes the time taken to summit each mountain. And I kind of guess that's what we're there for, isn't it? So providing you're not taking too long in between mountains, the extended amount of time travelling in between allows your body to recover more adequately to take on the next hill. that might be something that's worth considering as well. And it eliminates that win at all costs mentality, and it's a little bit more considerate to other mountain users. Now, as a mountain experience, I think it's fairly low. I mean, the views were incredible. I mean, we didn't get any views on the top of Ben Nevis, as you've seen. No, we were nicely clagged in, and the views from Scafell were amazing, but honestly, by the time I got to Snowdon, I wasn't really focusing on the scenery. I was just focusing on getting up to the top and getting back down again, because by that time I'd had enough. But this was never meant to be a guide to doing the 3 peaks. This was just about documenting my experience, what I found out that worked, what I found out that didn't, and maybe you can learn from my mistakes and my experience and use it to enhance your own 3 peaks. It might be that you decide to do them all separately or on different days and really enjoy them and take the time, because let's face it, we weren't stopping for long when we were going up. It was a case of just pushing on, stopping and eating when we got back to the car, and you don't really get time to enjoy what's in front of you. Right, well, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you've not done so already. It's not going to be the last walking challenge that I do this year. I don't think it'll be the last time I climb all those peaks, at least not individually anyway. Just let me know in the comments below if you've got any plans to do these, either as part of the National 3 Peaks Challenge or individually. Share your experiences as well. I'm sure many of you have had a go at this before, and if you're going to attempt it, just let me know how you get on. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.